And today we decided to do a video about 9 things that shit.
That'd be easy.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Tamara.
I'm Eric.
Today we decided to do a video about 9 signs to tell you that you found true love. Now there are other signs, okay? Obviously everybody kind of has their own way of knowing if someone's right for them. But these are just basic guidelines that you could use to find out if you found the right person, you know, in your life. Let's get to it. Sign number 1, I think, is the most important because you can be yourself around the other person. You feel like you don't have to feel like you're walking on eggshells, or you don't have to feel like you have to say certain things to not hurt that person's feelings. Like the other person just automatically know that you're not trying to hurt their feelings in any way with anything that you say, but you should be able to have your own opinion and speak your own mind in a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't feel comfortable enough to tell somebody, you know, how you feel about things, and y'all can't discuss basically everything, and that's not a good start.
Yeah. And the second sign is if you can go through a hard time with the other person and they are just there for you. Like with me and Eric, we went through Hurricane Katrina in 2005, and that was probably one of the worst. I'd say it's probably one of the worst things we've had to go through as a couple. We pretty much lost everything. We were living together at the time. All we had were just the clothes that we were actually wearing, but you know, that's another video. But we had to go through that hard time together. We had to support one another through that. We lost pictures. We pretty much lost everything. So going through something like that is traumatic if you've never experienced it before. It was a blessing to know that I actually had him there with me going through something like that, because it was very difficult.
Yeah, going through tough times is where you find out where you really stand with the other person and where they stand with you. When y'all are standing next to each other and helping each other emotionally and physically and financially and everything else, just being there for each other, that's where you learn where the relationship really is.
Yeah.
Like anybody, you can take anybody on vacation and get along with them for a week almost. It's almost impossible to screw up a relationship where everything's always going good.
Yeah.
When it's tested is when you're having to deal with adversity. And if it can make it through the adversity, then it can dang sure make it through the good times. So it's just a lot better to have that behind you and know for certain. And that's the weird thing. As much as everybody hates going through that adversity, I'm glad I did. I'm grateful for it because you get to learn that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that if not. Because I ended up getting laid off as a result not long after that. And, you know, Tamara was there for me. And I don't know how many people would have been there for me. I really appreciate that, and I admire that about her. She never got angry with me about it or anything. She was always understanding, and we worked through it. We recovered.
You know, I got you, Eric B.
Yeah.
And the next tip is not keeping score. If you do something for somebody, it should be reciprocated. Like the other person shouldn't be like, you know what, I did this for you, and like now you have to do this for me, and like keeping score. That's not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I understand, like, the other person may help out more, but as long as you're putting in as much as you can put in, and you're not just sitting there accepting the help.
Yeah, you shouldn't be like an accountant acting like you're keeping receipts on everything you did. And if you're doing that, you're already kind of resenting the other person.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you do it and you completely forget about it and you don't notice if somebody's taking advantage of you. That's a whole different thing. There's some overlap. It's a little messy. But the thing is if you're doing it and you're like, okay, that's a point for me. If you're doing it for that reason, then yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You should be doing it for saying, okay, I'm glad I was able to do that for you.
Yeah, because you
and then move on, and
yeah.
that's it. And you don't dwell on it, and you don't sit there and say, remember this time. No, that's keeping points. That's being an accountant.
That's an immature relationship. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
It just is.
That's just like waiting for somebody else. That's so you can say the other person's to blame for the relationship being messed up.
Yeah.
That's all that is. You're keeping points so you can blame the relationship problems on the other person. You're truly happy to see each other. That's a sign. I mean, I don't even know why I'm saying that because it's so obvious. It's like you're beating over the head with it all the time. That goes without saying.
It's not obvious.
Doesn't really require a whole lot of explanation, I feel, because like if you're going to see that person, you consistently have like a sense of dread or you're just indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
That should tell you something.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I should have to go into a big explanation on that.
No, it's not. It's not a big explanation. Just, if you're genuinely happy, like I know when we first started dating, every time I saw you, I got butterflies. Like, of course, I don't get that now. But when we first started dating and I would see him, or if I thought I would see him, like somebody with his same size head or something like that, I would automatically like get butterflies. But it's just something like that. You don't always have to have butterflies, but just generally, like, even today when I know he's getting ready to come home from work, I'm excited. But then when he get here, I'm like, go to work. Like, he starts messing up the house and stuff like that. But I am generally happy, to see him. And that's all that means. Just being generally happy, to be in the presence of the other person and vice versa. Jesus. This next sign, if you have somebody that will put up with your family and your friends and that will just kind of go to bat for you when they're talking bad about you or disrespectful to you, keep that person, because you're going to need somebody on your side. And if that person will stand up for you, then that's showing that they're ride or die right there. Like, just to stand up to your family, for you, especially if you're not disrespecting anybody, if your family or friends are just being completely rude.
Either family, if they're defending you to their family or your family, that's pretty significant.
Yeah,
I think it's more significant to defend you against their family. But either or, they're both pretty great.
Yeah, because a lot of times in a relationship, the man sometimes has a hard time standing up for the woman, if it's his family. Especially, there are a lot of, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing or anything, but there are a lot of mama's boys still out there that everything mama says goes. They don't want to go against their mother, even though their wife or their girlfriend or their significant other is being disrespected. Like, that's not a healthy relationship, and vice versa. I'm not going to let my friends or family disrespect Eric, the same as, he wouldn't let his friends or family disrespect me. And the next sign is, if you can't imagine being with anyone else, if especially today, like, I see all these, like, people being catfished, and dating today is scary. Like, you don't know who you're dating. Like, you see all these Instagram models and stuff like that, and there's all these filters and all this stuff, and then you meet that person in real life, and it's a man or something. Like, I don't know. But, it's you never know who you're dating these days unless you're actually know that person or, have been... you just don't. It's a lot. What you laughing at?
I just had a random thought. If they had like a conspiracy theorist dating site, they could say they have like, I'm a lizard person looking for nothing. Okay.
No, but just it's the dating world is really scary today. You know, I lost my train of thought over that. Doesn't make any sense, but I can't remember what I was saying. Yeah, but if you can't imagine yourself being with anybody else, you know, if you know that you want to spend the rest of your life with that person, then that's another great sign.
What were we talking about?
Oh, God.
I still had a conspiracy theorist dating site on my mind. Making sacrifices.
It's not that big of a deal. I don't think we made sacrifices, but not like, okay, like I know, for example, moving to Mobile because I wanted to go to school. We moved to Alabama. We moved so that I can attend they had like a anesthesiologist program there, and Eric was doing really good here. He was actually starting to do MMA and actually starting to fight. I wanted him to stay here, but he wanted to move with me. So he made that sacrifice to, uproot everything that he had here to move over there with me. I guess that would be my
Because I
sacrifice.
told you Mobile wasn't really the safest place to be. And then you got over there and your coworker got shot taking out the trash, and
He got shot mowing the lawn.
you told me he was taking out trash.
No, they got robbed or something. This is different.
Okay, yeah. Long story short, I said, yeah, Mobile's a big city. It's for down here anyway, and it's got a pretty good bit of crime. Like, yeah, Mobile's great. There's a bunch of wonderful people in Mobile. I made a lot of great friends when I was there.
I did too.
But traffic is bad,
Yes.
and crime is horrible.
Yeah. We're from a small city, so we weren't used to that.
I didn't feel comfortable with her sleeping there every night for a year, knowing that she didn't have anything to protect her, knowing that she didn't have a weapon or anything like that. Like,
I
come
am a
on,
weapon.
man.
I am a weapon.
A lot of people think that.
I can protect myself if I had to. If I had to, I could scrap.
I don't doubt that you would try.
Okay. And the last tip is you don't really know if you found true love until you've been together for a really long time. Going on that first date is like doing a job interview, okay? You're not being you should be your true self, but during that time, you're kind of wanting to impress the other person. So, of course, you're not going to be like, hey, I got $50,000 in student loan debt on your first date. You know what I'm saying? But until you've been with that person for a long time, then you'll actually know. You go through some things, you go through some ups and you go through some downs, kind of like you were saying in the beginning of the video, you know, where you know if you want to be, if that person's the right one for you.
You go through some hardships and everything. You see how that person responds to you being under stress and them being under stress. You see how you respond to them being under stress. Y'all both going through adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Where are y'all with each other? It is if that person, if somebody's doing something that doesn't make any sense while somebody else is struggling, or if they're doing something that's completely selfish,
Yeah.
that's straight up selfish,
Yep.
and that other person's time of need, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
For sure. It's blatantly obvious 99% of the time something like that happens. You don't have to look real hard for it. Most people try to excuse it, or if things are good the rest of the time, most of the time, if things are normally pretty good, they're willing to overlook some of that stuff. But man, I don't think you should.
Yeah.
I think when those times are tough and they're tested, that's when you need to pay attention the most.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you really learn about somebody. That's when them trying to put on a show or anything is going to give way to what their real reactions are to things and where their heart lies.
Yep. And you know what a lot of men do in the beginning? They pay for everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. When me and you went out on first date, I paid for myself. I said, I don't want you paying for me. I can pay for myself. And I wasn't being rude about it. I just wanted him to know that, hey, I take care of myself. number one, I didn't want him thinking that it was gonna be something like, you know, I didn't know what kind of person he was. We were on our first date. I didn't want him to say, hey, well, I paid for you to eat, so now you got to give me a kiss or something. You know, I was like, no, I pay for myself. I take care of myself. And we did. We went
Dutch. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I like that because most of the time I went on dates with girls, they wanted me to pay for everything, and they were just when the second date, it's like, all right, I'm paying to hang out with you now. You're getting a free meal and everything.
Yeah.
I don't care what, societal standards are or whatever. That's just me. I don't care what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Everyone can be wrong.
Yep.
Everybody can be wrong. I'm wrong too. But I'm not going to just do it because everybody else is doing it. And I like that she was kind of the same way. She didn't say, oh, it's normal for the man to pay for everything. She paid for her half on everything. She paid for half of everything, and that made it just where we were there for each other. We were there to spend time with each other. It wasn't she was getting a free meal out of it, so there's at least that. We were both spending money to get to know each other and all that. It was equal.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't there wasn't me taking the brunt of everything or anything like that.
Yeah, I think
neither one of us were taking advantage of the other.
Yeah, we were actually able to have fun on our date because, I knew I paid for myself. So,
yeah.
Okay, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Leave a comment down below on how do you know when you found your true love, or how do you know what was one of the things that you said, okay, this person is, is legit for me. This person's it for me. Just leave a comment down below. And once again, thank you guys so much for coming back to the video. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. And also leave a comment with any other videos that you would like to see. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
See you later.
Deuces.